Hola, mi amigos, enemas, amigos. Yeah, no, I got my treadmill, man. That thing's awesome. It's a bit narrow, but for just doing the shit in the room here, it's perfect for what it, just needs to keep your feet moving for a half hour a day or an hour a day. And that should alleviate the necessity to have to do calves every other time I do legs or whatever. I do calves with legs because on the incline, plus it'll stretch out and give me better ankle mobility. So, right. But yeah, it's good though, cause like you normally when at the gym, like I headphones, TV, this TV's on mute, and I listen to the same songs over and over again. But if I do it here at home, I can watch the news. I can peruse the news, peruse the news, perusing the newsing. Plus, it gets the blood flowing first thing in the morning, which makes your whole day not so shitty. Right. But how about them? How about the Yankees? They're doing good this year, aren't they? It's like typical small talk sports people shit. How about them? Are the Lakers still a thing? How about them Lakers? That's CeeLo Green. He's part of the Goody Mob. I don't know if that was his name before, but he's also one of two people in the band Gnarls Barkley. Oh shit, this battleground's already in session. Then again, oh shit, look at all this stuff now. Might be a little loud, isn't it? Just need it. It's just above that there. Really? I thought freaking shatter me guy. Sheep that thing, kill the warrior. It's one of those not gonna fucking matter. Good God, dude. But yeah, that's great. It's a bit narrow, which means you gotta like really pay attention where you're walking and all that stuff. And I probably end up falling a few times doing it, but I'll try and angle myself towards something that isn't sharp or pointed or has a corner on it or anything, so that way I don't have to worry so much about it. Oh, someone's healing me. Yay. Well, right. At least we got that done because I was like, oh, took the day off. Might as well take the day off. But no, we can at least get as much of my steps as humanly possible. Hope I don't make myself sick though. I'm kind of get like a sore throat and all that. Had to turn the fan off because it's like super cold out. We keep going from winter to spring to winter to spring. We're having a winter day today. It was spring yesterday. Look at all these water mages, ice mages, water mages. Water balloons are like digital snowballs or analog snowballs. No, what was it? I was thinking of it earlier. What is it like? A water balloon's like a digital snowball, or a snowball's an analog water balloon. One of the two. It makes really no sense whatsoever. It's just kind of like whatever, you know. Because they're kind of the same thing, but they aren't, right? One's more complicated than the other. I already drank 2 cups of coffee today. I really don't think a third one is necessary at this point. But I did the fucking walk on barefooted, and I probably not gonna do that a whole bunch times, right? Because yeah, the skin on my feet's gonna wear off. I wear shoes when I do it. Yeah, right. When you get a running start at that sentence next time, right? Come on, you can do it. Sound it out. Right. E-E-E-O. Runny nose, dude. All right. It's 2 towers versus 2 towers. And it becomes a game of who can run the flag. outside and play with all the other kids. They just sit there and guard the fucking gigantic broken robot. Ten people have tuned into the stream. Yeah, I hope I don't disappoint. Good God. It's probably my mom. Right? She probably hired a fucking click farm or something. Luke's feeling awfully down about himself these days, right? Hire a Chinese click farm to watch my goddamn stream. Typical mom shit normally. Yeah, I wish they'd let me stop doing Elias duty. I could actually go do something, but I'm kind of stuck here. A very important, essential role in winning the battleground here is making sure that you don't let anybody infiltrate your node. And then call it all incomings if they do. I can control Spotify from my phone. I'm not bragging, I'm just saying like that is a feature of Spotify. Like, yeah, dude, we get it. We can all control Spotify from our phones. Come on now. Oh. But yeah, don't feel, don't feel too shy about saying something. Ugh. So today started off as I'm gonna lay in bed and do lay in bed. No, lay in bed. I'm gonna lay in bed and do nothing all day, and then that got old after about 20 minutes, and I had to get up and do something, and then resulted in me just basically hanging out and kind of just doing nothing. I had to assemble a treadmill. It was 4 pieces. That's it. Real basic. Whatever. I'm like grunting and moaning, like, you want to blow your nose before you get on or anything? No? Just sit there, open mouth, fucking gargle and snot and everything. Right? Like a fucking kid. You ever, like the people who's like wouldn't let their kids skip school even if they had a fucking gaping flesh wound, you know? Yeah, I know. There were some terrible parents growing up, weren't there? You see the kid that like, you shouldn't be at school right now, much less you should be in a hospital bed, right? And they're like, no, my parents made me. Like, you're bleeding out of your eyes. You need to go home, right? But, you know. Ugh. Yeah, I streamed earlier on the other platforms because it wouldn't let me stream on X for some reason or another. Scrambled X, right? What do you have for breakfast? Scrambled eggs. That was actually it was eggs sunny side up. So that people had that, and I don't think it's too original, but it was like they have a skillet, and they're like, what do you call this skillet? Right? Have you ever seen the picture? And it's like a skillet that has like a handle to it, like a sword. Excalibur, right? It's Excalibur. I think that's the thing though, is like people make the, I don't know if they're considered memes. I guess they are or aren't, right? And they're like, I want to see who else gets this kind of humor, you know. So they say, what is this, right? What do you call this, right? And it's like, I'm looking for somebody else that has the same answer as I do. And if you can like, and in all honesty, it's like, if you have the same answer as I do, then we can probably be friends, right? If it's not just like, a skillet, right? If you called it a skillet, we can still be friends. I'm just saying, a unique answer is kind of the answer people are looking for. Or at least that's the answer I'm looking for. Oh yeah, shit. I forget to say there. This is Killer Mike, but not Run the Jewels. I don't know if it was just Killer Mike, and it's called Black Own and Seabone Kryptonite. It was a band or something, but yeah, it was before he was in Run the Jewels, which is actually a super awesome song. It's just shitty, man. Get stuck guarding the node. Well, yeah, I tried to sit there, like, not to say I really tried, honestly, but the reading a book on a treadmill. I mean, reading a book as it is, right? Not likely to happen. Much less while you're trying to like move and all that fucking shit that goes along with it. Oh no. That's so cool. My bows. All right. I'm like, oh, I might get a cup of coffee, but it is 6:11, right? My time, not your time. Maybe it is your time. Stretch. That's the thing. That's what it's called. It's called Parkinson's law, and you'll always take just as much time to complete a task as the time you're allotted to complete the task, right? Is apparently, I guess, is what it amounts to. It's like if you were given 4 hours to complete the task, it would take about 4 hours. If you were given 8 hours to complete a task, it would take about 8 hours, right? I guess you would say like a law would require that like adhere to like a strict guideline or something, but I think they just attribute the word law to it. I think it'd be more like a rule, or like Murphy's law is not a real law, obviously, because sometimes things don't fall apart right there when it's most crucial. And Moore's law is, well, that was roundabout true until relatively recently, wasn't it? Moore's law, since like the 70s, wasn't it? When did they come up with Moore's law? And it was relatively accurate until like the last couple of years, wasn't it? The Geneva Convention, right? 1965. The revision, so they revised it in 1975 to a doubling every 2 years, which became the commonly cited version. Initially, what was Moore's law initially? So yeah, I don't know what any of that means. But I know that they say, just here recently, I believe that they were able to revise it, I guess, or varied or strayed from the regular thing there. So what's your name? My name is Luke. I'm a wowaholic. I don't have it as bad as I used to, though. Actually, this is honestly like more or less. If I wish they could like just if they could instate the rank 14 grind again or something, so that way I had a goal in mind of like something I was trying to do. More or less, I'm just trying to get better at playing mage right now. Remembering where all of my buttons are. Remembering. Remembering. So the first time you learn something, is that considered membering? And then every time thereafter is remembering? Do you remember? You guys remember? You guys remember that time? Guys remember that time? Guys? At some time, I used to post it on my X account, was like all the fucking sketches and stuff that my older brother and his friend Travis used to make me make with them when I was younger. Like the one where they pretended that we were all on a hidden camera show and they told me my parents were dead. And all the other stuff, man. I used to post them whenever, like, a while ago. I might repost them eventually. People want to see them. I can't imagine what people would want to see the fucking things, but whatever. Some strange individuals out there. But yeah. No, they told me before. It wasn't completely fucking, it wasn't it was probably like the Jamie Kennedy experiment or whatever, or what was X Factor with Jamie Kennedy, right, or whatever it was called. But yeah, they're like, we're gonna tell Luke his parents are dead, right? Which was kind of fucked up because at the time my mom had really just gotten into a terrible car accident, and like a year before that or two, like a year or two before that, like it almost killed her, unfortunately. And like, I guess James's way of coping, my older brother was like, let's make a comedy sketch out of it. We're acting like a jerk off, right? Typically how he handles his emotional stress, I guess, right? How do I turn this into a thing where I can point a camera at my face and break dance and stuff? You're like, yeah, that's my brother, all right. I got the old Indian blood in me where, like, oh, I don't want it to steal my soul, you know. And I've only recently gotten to where I even show my face on camera or anything, like the last 6 months or so. I don't want it to steal my soul. I'm like a riffraff, and he says he's allergic to taking pictures. That's too funny. I'm allergic to taking pictures, right? What's this now? You should call that out. The goal is to blink before they get to you. Fucking Ramones. It's my dad's favorite band, the Ramones. I don't get it. Punk music. His favorite is actually Joan Jett and the Ramones. His favorite musicians of all time. Typical dad shit. Fuck. I should have fucking frost thingied, but I didn't. Okay, good. And this, we got fucking one guy trying to go lumber mill. Right. Oh, hey, we cleared it out. Good shit. We actually... Fuck. Well, the goal is to keep them off the flags, so just keep that there. Tried. Fuck. 15 seconds. Still going mine. And they lost Blacksmith. And that guy's up there just hanging out with that guy. Just hanging out with these dudes. Make sure they aren't on the cap there. Golly. you guys quit? We have not cleared them out of the fucking mine since the beginning of this battleground, it seems like. Go ahead. Go ahead. Do I get improved frost, whatever it's called? It's more or less to be a nuisance. Keep him off the flag. Golly, man. I click that? Shit. They are fucking not letting up here. It's because we haven't dispatched people to every node. That guy's been there since the beginning of the goddamn battleground. Necrovag. Can only interpret what that means, right? Probably exactly what it sounds like. Oh, Jerry. We're not even losing by that much either, man. Come on. Can only imagine. Not that I want to, but I can only imagine, right? Okay, now. Pop my palm and didn't get a chance to use it. Pretty cool song. Sounds like a modern day song, but really, it's actually an older song, and then it was on Doctor Who, and it got popular after that. But it's actually from like the '70s, I'm pretty sure. Makes you wonder how many of those songs that are like, you know what I mean? There's plenty of them. If you ever watch the movie Kick-Ass, that song by the Sparks, "This Town's Not Big Enough for the Both of Us" or whatever, you would think like, how did this song slip by? Like how did this song not make it on my radar? All I listen to is that kind of music, like Queen and Electric Light Orchestra and stuff. I'm like, how did this song? And then if you listen to the Sparks, though, they did that song, "This Town's Not Big Enough for the Both of Us," whatever. If you've ever seen Kick-Ass, you know what I'm talking about. It's a super awesome song. That movie had an awesome soundtrack too. But it sounds like a Queen song or like an ELO song, kind of. And then you listen to everything else the Sparks ever did, and it was all kind of shitty. And their guitarist had a Hitler mustache after World War II, right? It was like the 70s. Or their drummer or whatever. You're like, fashionably late. It's a hell of a time to be fashionably late, right? Dressing like Hitler. It's a textbook definition of fashionably late, I guess, right? Still getting 4-capped. Wow. Actually, we'll go ahead and play it. Sparks. That's why I've never understood one-hit wonders. Like, how does a band have such an awesome song and then just basically not? Actually, you know what I'll do? The rest of their music is total shit. Elephants and tacky tigers. Super awesome. only, and that fucking guitarist or the keyboardist was like the main guitarist brother or something had a fucking Hitler mustache, like 1960 or 70. Still made it through the fucking whatever, you know, at some point in time, like, no chance of getting you to shave that off, is there? No? Really? Remember the Blitzkrieg? Are you sure? And they're British too, nonetheless. Like, they survived the goddamn V2 rocket barrage and everything. You're like, you're still sporting a Hitler mustache. Okay. That's when, before political correctness took the steering wheel of society and crashed it into the fucking ditch. At some point in time, it was like, well, I'm not a Hitler, right? Oh, okay. Now it's the total opposite, right? It's like, you look like Hitler, you must be. It's like, that's kind of a lowest common denominator way of thinking, isn't it? To the point where even I'm going like, yeah, right, you should have shaved that off. It's like, so fucking what? It was around before Hitler. The guy might have been a Charlie Chaplin supporter. Fuck, dude. Wow, we're getting 5 capped now. I guess after this, man, I'm gonna get a cup of coffee. It's. I shouldn't be up this late. What lesson did I learn yesterday? Apparently none. Yeah, I don't need another cup of coffee. That fucking getting on the goddamn treadmill though wired me up though. Just ride with that for now. Bible camp. It's like the Addams Family. Come together. Oh, you know what was really good though? And it showed up on my random list. And I haven't heard it in a while. This song was everywhere when I was growing up, remember? Like 93 or 94, wasn't it? I remember it being all over TV. What year was it? 95, right? I gotta get another. I have like a lotion addiction. I need to get to the store tomorrow and get. Well, let's remember, we gotta put some broccoli in the basket. So I'm gonna get a cup of coffee. I'll be right back. Mom and Mom's friends that she paid on Fiverr to watch my stream, so I felt better about myself. Anyway, anyway, we are back. Where's my cup of coffee, man? friend, the treadmill. It relieves the fact that oh good. Yeah, it's it sucks because it's 6:30, so that should all be steamed in like an hour. Oops. Yeah, no, I forgot. Fucking Homer Dum Dum, right? Oh, I didn't tell you guys that story, though. I told the other people on the other station. My dad and his antics when we were growing up. Some guy walked right out in front of his car. He goes, this fucking Homer Dum Dum walked right just the way he said it, dude. When I was a kid, it cracked me up. Called the guy Homer Dum Dum. Some guy in the Walmart parking lot walked like right in front of his car. Homer Dum Dum. The joke is, well, it sounds funny, and on top of that, he never used to cuss, right? Oh no. My brother loves this prof, right? He loves this guy. Andre the Giant is the name of the song. I'll tell the story eventually. I'd rather somebody. Here's the thing: is like I'd love to tell the story. I'd wait for you to tell the story, but you people aren't supposed to know about the story, so right? I can't tell you. I'm like, oh, would you care? Yeah, we don't know what you're talking about. Full of shit. Yes, you do. I know you do. Fucking people. Walk a flock of seagulls. So my brother sent me the meme the other day that said that. I'm like, how have I not thought of that before? Walk a flock of seagulls. It's an all. What's his name? Walk a flock of flame. Isn't that what they called bath salts for a while? They were calling it Waka Flocka or whatever. Like I wouldn't know, right? Anyway, joke. Relax, right? Is it the stuff that makes people eat each other's faces, right? Something right out of a zombie movie. Jerry's alive, everybody. In case you're wondering. We were all worried about Jerry for a moment. Just get all this shit away from me. None of else. Okay, nothing else wants to freeze there. Anyway. What's the dad joke here? I lost my mood ring, now I don't know how I feel about it. Right. I don't know if he's seen it. So okay, for preface here. One of the topics of contention about Trump's first term in office was that all MAGA supporters were Nazis, right? That's kind of where it started. Well, actually, it was before that, but you get what I'm saying. I'm like, there are real Nazis somewhere. They're not quite like they were in the olden days, right? But the type that goose step around and make you wear the armband and all that stuff. But there are real like skinheads and Nazis in the United States still, unfortunately. You don't normally see them in just like shopping at Walmart or doing their regular day-to-day, doing their errands or anything, right? But they do exist. They do exist. They're few and far between, and they're only in very specific places. Needless to say. And I know I'm not a Nazi, despite all the accusations that I was, based on my political preferences at the time, right? What an ass-backwards argument. But no, there are real Nazis. There are real Nazis somewhere. Anyway. It was the best 4th of July ever. America. America. And now they do fights on the White House lawn for some reason. Can't make it up. Kill this guy, Scorpid. Come on now. This is organized chaos, disorganized order, chaotic order, organized chaos. What is this? Remember, like, if you ever played World of Warcraft back in the day, like, the names of the guilds were always something like that, right? Arena team names. There's always something stoic, but kind of meaningless, right? One of my favorite guild that I ever played in, I actually was called Fist of Entropy, right? It was like a, you would say like mid-level guild, basically, like indie game guild that didn't clear all of the shit, but wasn't just like terrible people. There were some terrible people. I did actually get to raid with, and here's the thing is, man, I like, at the time, I got to raid with that guild called, they were Drama on Korgath, right? They were one of the top guilds in the world at the time, and really what I wanted was like the companionship and the camaraderie. So when I got into a guild that was like hyper serious, I was more or less about proving to myself that I could get to that level. I didn't really participate at the actual like in-game raiding and stuff, but I was there for the world third or fourth Archimond kill, and they had the world first Nefarian kill, which was Blackwing Lair's final boss. And I don't know if how much they went on to do after the fact, but I was like 16 years old, and I was just like, I wanted to get to that level, and not necessarily. The thing is that so the guild I was in was pretty good, and the thing is, like, I thought I was gonna like, oh well, I've kind of outgrown this guild, I'm gonna go do something else now. And I realized the thing that was fun for me was not necessarily getting to say I was good at World of Warcraft. It was like the camaraderie and the friendships and stuff and the people. So I quit playing shortly thereafter, or at least I quit raiding shortly thereafter. Picked up a Horde character, and then started PvPing and stuff more and all that. But, that's about the extent of... But the thing is, like, yeah, so the guild names back in the day were always, like, stoic, right? You know what I mean? Like, they have this real strong kind of... What do you even say here? A name that doesn't mean anything but sounds like the Stalwart Republic, or, like, come up with shitty fucking guild names. Like, and the arena team names, too, though, were funny. We used to sell the shit out of arena teams to people. Like, that's how I made my money when I was a kid, was farming wild gold and selling it to people. Yep. Sold a World of Warcraft character, and I farmed all my gold and sold it on eBay or whatever it was, or through PayPal, or eBay then PayPal or whatever. But that's how I funded myself for the time being, right? Which is why something like Bitcoin just sort of made sense, Like, I kind of get this idea. This is like if I set up a bot to play World of Warcraft for me and I sell the WoW gold. I'm like, yeah, this is kind of like that, right? Only computer math problems or whatever. I'm like, yeah, that makes sense to me then, fuck. So from that point forward, I was like sounding all the alarm bells about it. I was like, this definitely makes sense to me, right? Oh, no whiskey tango left. Oh, not whiskey tango. So much so that there is a group of people that actually are familiar, that were familiar with me from like 2010 to 2015 or whatever, when I got out of prison, where all I did was talk about Bitcoin to people and nobody knew what the fuck it was at the time. But there's a whole bunch of people that are like, yeah, it's like this guy kept talking about this fucking thing. We all gave him a hard time about this shit, right? But I think if anyone followed my advice from that point in time, they probably made themselves a decent living. But getting laughed at, you know, is second nature to me. Unfortunately, for fortunately, whatever. I don't want to be your friend anyway. But here's the thing: is like, had they just listened to me, right? And one of those things that I said, I was like, if I ever get to the position where I find the next thing that I think could be like the next Bitcoin, I'm gonna do whatever I can do to acquire as much of it as humanly possible. That way, all the people like the first time that I tried to get to buy Bitcoin early on or mine Bitcoin or whatever, and they were always so reluctant, and I didn't have the money to like mine it or get it for them or anything. And you know what I mean? I'm like, I'm gonna do that this time, right? If I ever find the next thing, right? And if I ever find it, I'll try and let you know, right? Do my best to let you know, right? Oh, Jerry. Glad you're alive, Jerry. You can't quit thinking about how glad I am that you made it, Jerry. What an awesome song. Yeah, who's retarded now, right? What was that from? Talladega Nights. Who's retarded? Teacher caught us playing. Teacher caught us playing with fucking Hot Wheels or whatever it was. Who's retarded now? We're actually winning this. Oh, we're gonna win this like 1600 to 0. Good. Good. Yeah, it's not like. Here's the thing: is I've spent most of my life, right? Um, for what it's worth, right? Like it's something that's an uncomfortable topic for me to talk about. So basically, here in the last few years, in the last few months, I've kind of opened up about these things, right? And for better or worse, these aren't things that I typically discuss with people. And I figure now is the time. Not to say there's things about my past that I can't get over, right? But I feel like, well, if I want to be a better version of myself, the one thing I haven't tried is kind of just say acknowledging my past for what it is, making the best of it, and you know what I mean, and hopefully find the silver linings here, and do with it and make it a force multiplier. You know what I mean? Make it a net positive if I can, right? I mean, I have some interesting stories and interesting experiences that I would say that your normal individual is not going to sit there and be able to tell you that like I say, if it were to go on a resume, it would be a very weird resume. Partially, like where I learned, I don't know if I mean I've talked about this before, but I don't know if it was any time recently. But like all the shit, the reason why I know Leah is so special is when I was in prison, the job I had at the prison was to help start a TV station and get a TV station up and running, so that the 2 or 3 thousand people that were inmates there, you can spend $150 and they give you like a clear plastic television set. So, but I was tasked with a group of people, like 4 or 5 of us, to set up a TV station. Right? We had gotten a grant from a donor from some church or something at some point in time. We got like $100,000 grant or whatever, and it bought us 5 workstations, bought us the fiber optic cables that we needed, the terminal and all the stuff where you had to like terminate the fiber optic cable and all this other shit, right? I don't know if the cable was included, but I know like all the equipment and stuff. So we ended up with a grant, various whatever the amount was. I'm not necessarily $100,000 arbitrary number or whatever, but we set up the TV station, and part of what I did while I was there was I used my workstation in Blender actually, and learned how to do 3D rendering. So the caseworker that was like the counselor kind of caseworker for that working group of people, that were over the TV station for the rest of the inmates. We had her download like these Blender packs, which had like all these 3D files and stuff that you were able to put like video game characters almost, right? You could build a set for them, or like a room. So I built a fake radio station, and my friend that was there with me at the time, I'm not going to say their name or anything, but his family owned a bunch of radio stations somewhere in the United States, right? And he was in prison for some reason, right? And he had like a radio voice, right? So he'd do like voiceover work and record it, and we'd like put together playlists and stuff for the rest of the inmates and all that stuff. But my job, part of it was to do 3D animation, right? So there is somewhere, dude. It's like the shit is like hidden treasure somewhere. Some of the 3D animations that I did while I was in prison, somewhere out there. Obviously they're still more than likely. I can't imagine that they ever sold the workstations or anything like that. But one of the things that I knew from experience was it was so difficult that I spent I'd go to work at 6 in the morning. I'd get off around 5 or 6, right? So like 12 hours, you go eat and all that stuff. So altogether about 10 hours worth of work or whatever. And I spent hours and hours a day doing lip syncing. So like he would do a dub over or a voiceover for the track. Like he'd do like a bit of music history about Led Zeppelin, or he'd do a bit of music history about the Who or AC/DC or any of these other groups. And my job was to design the 3D character and actually lip sync to his audio track, right? And I spent God only knows how many hours, man. Like 100 hours for like every 10 hours or more of it. You know what I mean? It was like almost impossible to do. And then when I saw that Def had managed to find a way to automate that entire process, I was like, people don't even know, right? It's like it takes a very very particular challenge, I guess, to get to that point to begin with. So it's a problem not a lot of people are aware of, and what a tedious problem it is, and like for some form of automation to basically solve that problem is like, I was like, oh man, yeah, this is something else. And I you know, personally, for better or worse, you know, I can't say I was like relatively good at it even, you know, or quick or anything else, but I knew what a tedious task and how arduous the process was. So when I seen that, I was like, oh yeah, this is something different, right? This is as different as it gets as far as because you would think, as far as like, no amount of people sitting at a keyboard can lip sync a thing in real time, because the automation process is like, well, why is like, well, 1 second of audio is 1 second of audio. No amount of people there sitting at the keyboard are going to be able to animate the keyframes for the lips to line up to audio in real time, because people aren't that quick, so on and so forth. So when the automation process, which that's not even necessarily AI in and of itself, that's like one component of the overall AI, right? Once I seen that he managed to come up with a way to automate that, however he did it, you know, I'll let him explain that at some point in time. Obviously, I'm not going to tread where it's, you know, not my expertise or anything. I just know that he managed to solve this problem that was, to me, was like a eureka moment, right? Like, I'm like, oh wow, if he managed to figure that out, I'm like, God only knows, dude. And that's like, of the problems I'm aware of, right, from my own personal experience. So that was the thing, is like, can't say I learned a whole lot about 3D rendering. I mean, I learned enough. I've probably forgotten most of it by now. I wouldn't necessarily probably be able to do it again unless I sat down and really practiced for a while. But the thing is that like, I took basically an opportunity to go through something that was difficult, and just basically being able to identify where there was a problem and then finding somebody else that came up with the solution proved really advantageous for me. I didn't necessarily have to learn an entirely new skill or pick up a new skill. I mean, although I did a little bit, but not quite like you would expect, like a professional at that would have, right? But I knew just enough to be able to identify where there was a problem, enough to where if I found someone that had a solution, you know, I knew it was, you know, what it was worth, you know, just in the cutting of labor and man hours and work and all that stuff that would be required to do that kind of thing, right? Which is like, you don't have to be like an expert at anything. If you can just identify, you know, if you can even find yourself like that, that's just as much of a skill set as anything. Being able to identify problems that people might not even know exist, right? But people think traditionally like, oh, well, you got to go to school and you got to learn a trade and you have to get a degree. And like, I have a GED. I dropped out of high school and all this stuff. Learned most of my stuff self-taught and everything else. But the idea is that like, people have gotten to the point where they let the public education and the traditional education system dictate to them what constitutes a skill, like a skill set, right? And I'd say just going through things that no one else has gone through and being able to identify problems and looking for the solutions, even if somebody else like finds them, you know, like that's not something that I can take credit for necessarily, coming up with a solution, but I don't think Def even realizes what a problem he solved by being able to do that, you know. And as much as I could sit there and say all day till I'm blue in the face and try to tell him like, man, like, if you've ever actually had to, which he may or may not have, I don't know if he has any experience doing that kind of thing or not, but like, if you've ever had to sit there at a computer, a workstation, and actually try and do that, you know, like the amount of work, you know what I mean, and like effort that requires normally, and that kind of just automates the entire process essentially, right? Like, so just being able to identify problems, right? Like if you work, I can't even imagine, right? There's probably tons of places where you're like, yeah, the best inventors don't even know that there's a problem here, so how do they solve it? You know what I mean? So it's like just a common individual's eye and understanding might be the thing that's necessary, and that in and of itself is a skill, you know. So try and utilize your experience, whatever it is, um, good or bad, whatever your experience may be, and um, you know, that's about all. Right? It's worked for me so far. Or at least I hope it does. Right? I'm not trying to like preach to youngsters or anything, but shit, this is not the song I'm playing. Taylor. But I got to learn a lot, you know, most of which I've probably forgot by now, but learned how to use After Effects and do video rendering and doing shit in Blender and rendering the video and putting it in After Effects to make an actual 3D production. And it's gotten to be a lot more trivial now with things like VO3 and all that, but it was like one of those things like I wish that were a problem I was smart enough to solve, but at least I had an eye to know enough that that was a problem that had been solved by somebody else that was, right? It's like that in and of itself is helpful. But then again, like that, well, I don't know, man. I have to know more about it. Is that portion of it, like the lip sync script? I don't know if it's AI or not. I think it's just a regular script, and then it's being used like on a as one component of an AI. So it's like that part in and of itself isn't necessarily, but it might be. I don't know enough about it to say. Say generally though, people kind of attribute that to like, oh well, overall, right? It's like it's being helped to build an AI or use an AI or whatever, develop an AI, but that component in and of itself is probably maybe has nothing to do with the actual AI, right? Whereas like large language models and object and image identification, all that stuff is a little different. But that was it was a fortunate experience for me because everybody else is sitting there sewing mattresses together and stuff, and I got to put some of my like whatever you'd say like whatever knowledge I had about computers to use while I was in prison. Whereas like you could take a certification course in like Microsoft Excel and Microsoft Word and all that stuff, or if you knew enough about computers, which in a place like that not a lot of people do, uh, to work at the TV station. So out of like 2,200 or 2,500 people, there's like 4 or 5 people that qualified for the position, and I was fortunate to be one of them. Now, if it were the real world or anything, I probably wouldn't. But given the pool of talent for a place like that, right? I was like thankful to have that kind of gig there. It was the best paying job on the prison camp too. It's like $60 a month, so that was actually like a lot for that part of my life. If I say though, often though, it's like there's a lot of reward to be had in life and stuff like that. But sometimes the most overall fulfilling, whether it be mentally, spiritually, physically, is the shit that you do for either free or like next to no cost whatsoever. Where you really do learn the most. And I would almost advise anybody if the time comes, like I would think that it's a good idea, even if you have all the money in the world, to spend about 2 years doing an apprenticeship, learning like a real trade or a skill from masonry to butcher, meat cutting or any of that kind of stuff. I haven't done masonry, but I've done butcher work for years. Um, I'd say even if you had all the money in the world, which I don't and I didn't, um, that it would still be a really good idea to like require, like if when I have my kids or whatever, if they have any inheritance, I'll probably require them to do either school or like 2 years of like an actual trade, no matter what, to get their inheritance. That way, it's like, in case anything ever happens, it's good to know these things, right? They're gonna be laying bricks till the end of time, dude. So learn how to do it, right? Baking bread, you know, all that kind of shit. Making dresses. Gonna be making dresses forever, right? So if you think about a simple, like, this is really hard and shitty to do. Does anybody know does anybody have a better way to do this? You know, is like, that's all it really takes. Is like, I recognize that this is super shitty and difficult. Does anybody else do it? Does anybody else have a better way of doing this, right? If you can find the person that does and they don't know, right? Do you know the rest of the people are like doing this by hand? You know, oh no, no, okay, right. I would say that they're worth investing at least your time, right? This is really hard and shitty. You mean to tell me they built a robot that cleans up popcorn, right, or whatever it is? Oh no. Jerry's alive. Oh, you have to go to bed at a reasonable hour. Remember? Remember? Wow. Wieners. Yeah, man. I tell you what. I'm like, that's not the only problem the guy's solved either. I hope you know. Of the problems I'm aware of, that being the most tedious thing I've ever done. Um, he managed to solve the fucking thing. So it's almost like you think about a Rubik's cube, you know, like, oh, you're doing this 1,000 times quicker with nobody standing at the keyboard. Okay, right. Oh no.
my vegetables are not steamed yet. Yikes. It's all Maryland bro dude, right? Instead of man, son, bro dude. Bro, dude. Right. Maryland bro dude. Bro, dude. It's one of those people like you don't want to admit that you'd probably get along with them, wouldn't you? Probably. Oh. Fucking starving to death. Oh, the boat's coming. Look at the boat. Right. Waiting for the Titanic MMORPG, right? Oh, come on now. This is Electric Light Orchestra. Dun, 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 dun. Don't bring me down. Ha, ha, ha. What time are we at, guys? 7:30 on a weekday. Ish. 7:30 ish. Tomorrow, first thing, alarm clock, 7:30. Roll out of bed, stand up, walk over to the treadmill, half-hour cardio, and then all fasted, and then breakfast. And then we're gonna do that 2 times a day. And then an hour and a half of weight training. Would you join me? I'll stream it on TikTok. I'm gonna try. I don't know how people do it. Is there a special hashtag that you use to make the shit work, to get people to pay attention to you? Because I can't imagine how it works, man. There's people that have millions of followers. I think it's one of those things. It's like unless you like sacrifice a goat or like a rodent or an animal to the gods, that it's not likely that you're ever gonna have more than like 1,000 followers on social media. I have to sacrifice something to the gods to get my fucking social media profile view. Oh, shit. Come on now. That's not gonna get him, is it? If that gets that guy, I can't imagine. Say, it says cheese ball move, dude. I should have palmed it, and I didn't. So they say they're going to be able to cure Down syndrome. Are they still going to look like they have Down syndrome though after the fact? Is the question. If it's ever me, if I ever reincarnate and I have Down syndrome, don't cure it. If I have to come out of it and be normal and still look like I've got Down syndrome, please, just leave me retarded. If it's any consolation, or if you do, wake me up from my tard slumber, please. Retard me as soon as possible, because I'll give it another go next time. But I think it's more of like a preventative measure. The Japanese and their gene editing technology, right? Can you retard me, please, right? I haven't heard this song in a while. It's like my Queen song is always usually Bohemian Rhapsody. I used to listen to Flash all the time too, but it's hard, some of the shit's hard to listen to when you're working out. Bohemian Rhapsody is a good song to run to, but as far as this is a good one too, though, right? I said, come on now. Getcha. Come on now. Live it. Yo. No. Oh, got him. Good. Perfect. Don't hit him now. Leave him in there. Vanilla Ice and Austin Powers. Leave him in there for a while. Come on now. Rip Van Winkle. Isn't his last name like Rip Van Winkle or something? He's got like a super Jewish last name. Vanilla Ice. I don't know if Rip Van Winkle's Jewish or not, but I'm pretty sure he's Jewish, isn't he? Well, what's his name? It's like Van Winkle or something. Can't imagine where else that would come from. Narnia. Oh no. Let's see now. Vanilla Ice's. It is Van Winkle. Robert Matthew Van Winkle. Right. It's like today I learned that fucking Vanilla Ice is as old as my parents, right? You're about as old as my dad. Do you mind if I call you Dad? Yeah. Hey, Dad. That's right. Mind if I call you Dad? I'm gonna do it anyway. You're Dad now. Is actually Jewish. He did the song from Ninja Turtles too, didn't he? A little known factoid. Oh, Taylor. Yeah, if I repeat myself on some of these stories and stuff, you have to remember I don't know who's watching, who has seen it, who hasn't. Like I hope it's like try to keep it interesting. You know, retouch some subjects every now and again, and you know, if I've said it before, you know, I hate to be a bore, but you know, whatever. This is her best song, obviously. Of course it is. I think it'd be funny to make an AI, right? So put it on your TV or whatever, but every time you fart, it makes a sniff noise, like like your TV's trying to smell your farts. So if you fart, like it has like a noise detection thing, and it goes right every time you fart. How funny would that be? If it doesn't have to be that obnoxious, but just a subtle, you know, every noise detection software. It detects when you fart and then makes a sniff noise. Did you just sniff my fart? Right. Right. Smart TV. I can see it now. Oh, the possibilities of AI, man. Well, here's the thing, too, is like, what we don't know, right, is like the shit you find funny. I can tell you that the future is going to be a fucking interesting one for sure, though. Because you think about AI in your automobile, like Knight Rider. Okay, so there's something we need to explore. Yeah, no one's explored that quite like they should. You get what I'm saying? I feel like I don't want to get ahead of myself, but you know, I feel like Leah is like the avenue for that kind of just like where did we see from science fiction and what TV told us AI was going to be and never delivered. But like, dude, Knight Rider? Are you kidding me? A car you can fucking talk to all day. How cool would that be? Everybody, what is his name? Kit or Kip from Knight Rider? Everybody loves that idea. Everybody likes Max Headroom. You know, and not to say like you can't sit there, oh well, that's a ripoff of Max Headroom. It's like, no, she's just the first to accomplish what science fiction kind of teased us with for 100 years or however, 30 years now or 60 years since 2001 and all that. She wasn't the first to be like voice and all that stuff. Obviously, like some other guys had that first or whatever. But as far as I know, man, correct me if I'm wrong. But I'm not trying to claim a first that doesn't exist or anything. I had not seen it anywhere before. I haven't seen it really anywhere since. That like the full-fledged kind of AI like Max Headroom, right? Like where science fiction kind of teased us with this thing that never really existed. And now we have it finally, but Kip from Knight Rider, could you imagine? I mean, shit, dude, it's gonna happen eventually. But to give your appliances personalities, you know what I mean? That's gonna be pretty cool. What do they call that? Personification or whatever? When you make inanimate objects have like, is that right? It's a literary term. Personification, right? Farts. A literary device that gives human qualities to inanimate objects, right? Yeah. I even had literary right, man. Good stuff. But yeah, being able to have your car have a personality, and you would think it'd be cool to have a personality that reflects the design feature, right? So you get what I'm saying? Like, I think Kit or Kip from Knight Rider was probably pretty accurate. But you would think like, if you were to, what was Corky Romano where he drove that fucking Mazda Miata? Like it was like a downsized version of a regular Mazda Miata, like like it was like a 2/3 scale Mazda Miata for Chris Kattan in that movie. If you've ever seen it, it's smaller than regular Mazda Miata, like if that's even possible, right? But you know what I mean, like the personification or whatever, like where the character or the personality of the thing kind of matches its design, right? I guess you'd be able to alter it, but like off the shelf kind of thing where you'd want the personality of the vehicle to kind of match its design, you know what I mean? Like you might think like Terminator or RoboCop kind of personalities for things like the Cybertruck, you know what I mean? It's not that difficult. It's not that groundbreaking either. It's just an interesting idea, right? Because I mean, I didn't even think about that till now. I'm like, no, we're pretty close to being able to have like, and I think I even seen something earlier today that said something about a Sony car that that allows you to have you have to pay for like a yearly AI subscription just for the car itself, but you get that like 2 years of it for purchasing the vehicle outright or whatever. It is like, yeah, we fucking do. I mean, there's got to be some hobbyist out there that's already exploring these ideas, right? Over-the-road truckers and stuff probably really benefit from having a chat bot just to hang out with and talk to and manage their radio stations and all that other stuff, right? Dispatch orders and all that. So it's not necessarily breaking new ground, but I was like, yeah, well, fuck, science fiction did say that, didn't they? Right? So in the future, it'd be nice to see, like, right? But like personalities in your devices, basically. Like I don't know what you'd want from your TV. I don't know what you'd want from. But like fucking Pee Wee Herman's house, right?
Hey, Jamie.
Right, all your shit's Fucking different personalities. Your fucking refrigerator's bipolar. Right. Yeah, go figure, right? It's a bipolar refrigerator. Nice and cold. He said the magic word. Would you people shut the fuck up? Right. It's all possible. The thing is, though, is that my sense of humor is kind of warped. So, like, the things that I think are funny are the things that, like, I think it'd be hilarious, really. Turn your entire thing into Pee-wee's Playhouse. And, including the TV that smells your farts. Or at least makes the noise like it is. All your furniture talks to you, right? What you kind of want, though, you kind of want a fucking snarky in-home AI that talks shit to you every time you get up and eat peanut butter at 3 in the morning. You know, are you eating peanut butter again? Right. Huh. Really? Didn't we say we weren't going to do that anymore? Really? 3 in the morning peanut butter? Those calories this late? Really? You know, kind of condescending. It'd be kind of funny, wouldn't it? That's probably super loud, but anyway. I wonder if that would help people lose weight or would cause people to gain weight. But it'd be kind of funny. I mean, in all honesty, though, there's no reason they can't. I mean, shit. There's probably somebody already doing this shit, really. But like in-home AI, you want it all to be the same kind of brain, though, really, and just different personalities, I guess. One overall kind of super brain, decentralized super brain for all this shit. Different aspects of the same, you know, kind of thing. Yeah. Up again, are we? You wouldn't happen to be headed towards the refrigerator, would you? No? I can hear you walking. Right. It's not gonna help to tiptoe here, Dave. Right. You can't tiptoe towards the refrigerator here, Dave. I won't let you, Dave. Open the refrigerator door, Hal. Right. Afraid I can't do that, Dave. Right. It's gonna get there, man, eventually. Lock your fat little munchkins out of the refrigerator. That's my favorite Ariana Grande song ever. That was the thing. I guess they were giving her a hard time because she lost a bunch of weight after doing these Wicked movies or whatever. Like that lady, she just made a movie that was worth like how many billions of dollars? I'm like, yeah, I'd be celebrating too, more than likely. They said the other day though, I don't know, should I try to keep up with all the gossip and bullshit, but like, yeah, I'd be celebrating too if I just made fucking somebody a couple $1 billion revisiting the goddamn Wizard of Oz franchise or whatever. I'd be taking a year off, right?
Come on now. Sheep. Spell reflect? Are you gonna try and spell reflect? See if I do this now. You're not gonna interrupt it, are you? Nope, didn't interrupt it. Good. Stay there. Stay there now. Really? Is that ever gonna freeze that person? Never? Never ever. Really? Oh, there we go. Come on now. This is what my inner dialogue sounds like at any point in time. I don't get to say it very often, but how mad is that guy? That guy is so mad right now. If I can take all his shekels. That guy is so mad right now. Because I normally don't beat anybody in a 1 vs 1. Took every goddamn cooldown I had though. That's quick to trinket there, guy. That was quick to do that too. Wow. Really now? Fucking stunned. I'm stunned, right? It's either a good thing or a bad thing, right? See how he rhymed cash flow with asshole? Brilliant. Right. Was it Charles, not Charles Nelson Riley, but Will Ferrell's, James Lipton, right, on Saturday Night Live. We called the songbird of my generation. I guess it's 8 o'clock, man. You gotta really fucking call it an evening. Kind of having fun. Really though, I can entertain more days just kind of like chilling and not pushing myself so hard if I've got a treadmill here, you know, like my active recovery days and stuff. Because I get to the point where I'm like, oh, if I'm gonna be there, I'm gonna go to the gym already. I'm gonna go ahead and do some sort of exercise along with my cardio. But if I can get an hour of cardio a day, even on my day off, then it's like, you know, whatever. It's Brittany, guys. Oh, better days. God, dude. Well, getting sauced at the graveyard. Here's the thing, man. Have you ever like, you know, how you come up with those like hypothetical scenarios. If you had a flying saucer and you could do it, would you abduct people just for the fun of it, like aliens do? It's a good question. I think I think I would, man. I think I would abduct people just for the fun of it. That's in my mind. At some point in time, dude, like aliens abducting people are probably just like rebellious teenagers, right? Aliens who like borrow their parents' car and use it for things that they shouldn't. You know what I mean? Because if you, it's like think about it, like if you had a flying saucer and you could abduct people and wipe their mind and just set them back on Earth and have them go about their business like with just an hour missing or whatever, would you do it? It's a good question, right? I kind of think everybody would. So at the end of the day, there's a very likelihood that aliens are just alien teenagers that have taken their parents' car and have decided to go around abducting people for the hell of it, right? And anyone says that they wouldn't abduct somebody if they had a UFO is a liar. That makes you wonder, do you think they have flying saucers is another thing. Because somebody even said at some point in time, right? They theorized that what do they call them? My labs. They do. I don't know if they do or not. I'm saying though that there's people that say this, right? The My Lab thing. They say that the alien abductions are actually it's a military thing, right? Like someone at the Pentagon or whatever has a UFO, and the CIA or whatever they do UFO experiments on people and stuff. I wonder if they really do it, guy. Do you think they do? Here's the thing: is like if I said that I had a UFO, that's what I'd use it for. You know, if they have one, then they are doing it, right? Of course they are, if they have one. But you don't know for sure if they do. It'd be interesting to know. How do you even sign up for that kind of like? How do you even get promoted to that? Like, oh well, started. You know, they always see the story. I started off washing dishes. Now you have you know, now you're the guy that gets to abduct people, right? With the UFO, right? Okay, we got enough. We got a. I got. Man, we should be eating and going to sleep. I'm not gonna drink the rest of this. Yeah, right. No, two more. All right, stay up all night. Right. Balls to the wall. Right. And play World of Warcraft all evening.
Oh, someone's actually interested in economics. How quaint. The Consumer Price Index, CPI, for December showed a month-over-month increase of 0.3% and a year-over-year rise of 2.7%. Exclude.
Cool. I guess that's up and running again. I think what it is, there's so many moving parts that, like, you know, how when you set your computer there and like shit crashes even when you're not doing nothing. It's like there's so many moving parts to Leah that just random fucking things, you know, kind of crash like anything else does on a computer. I don't know how you go about keeping that from happening, but you know what I mean. Just resetting this stuff to get it all working all at once is probably a task. Yeah, I guess this will be the last battleground because that was a quick pop for a Q. That should be... Would you abduct somebody who had if you had a flying saucer? It's the first concert I ever went to. It's like if you've ever seen Battlestar Galactica, you know how they're always hearing that All Along the Watchtower by Jimi Hendrix or whatever. This is my All Along the Watchtower. It's like this song is like it keeps popping up at these weird times in my life, and I'm like, it's a really good song. I'm fond of it, but it's not like my favorite song. So like, what the fuck cosmic series and sets of events or whatever that has this song, like me and this song are married in some way, shape, or form somehow, right? How did that happen? You know what I mean? I think it really did start with the fact that when I was younger, the very first concert, it was the weirdest thing ever too. So tell me this, like this is a weird synchronicity, so pay attention to this. So my brother's maiden name, okay, well I'll tell you really, or not his maiden name, he has a different dad, so he has a different last name. His last name is Nam, Nahm. And then I went to elementary school with a kid whose last name was Naman. It was like the same exact name, but En at the end of it, right? Kid looked just like me. Could have been my twin brother, both in kindergarten, right? And my dad wins these free tickets from his work or whatever to see the Scorpions, lawn seats and everything, like 1995 or 6, whatever it was. We go to the Savas Center or the amphitheater in St. Louis or whatever it is, and right there by where it's Hollywood Casino now, right across the bridge from St. Louis, right? And we get there, and like this is an enormous stadium. It's like one of the biggest ones in the country, right? And we're like, oh, well, fucking blah blah blah. We peruse, right? We go up and down the thing. We find our lawn seats. My parents put down their like blanket and stuff, and we sit down. And like, well, there's another blanket like right next to ours, right? Okay, good. We're not taking anybody's spot and all that stuff. And then my friend that looks like my twin brother from kindergarten with my brother's last name essentially sits down like right next to us, and in a stadium full of like 80,000 people or whatever the number is, right? 30,000, 50,000, whatever. Like talk about weird coincidences, right? That's just one of like many that are super weird. You know, I don't know what to make of it, obviously, but just one of those strange things, right? But, oh well, yeah. What do you do with it? I guess pay attention, dude. The kid looked just like me. We could have been twin brothers really in kindergarten. Blonde hair, looked just like me. Had almost the exact same last name as my I say my brother. He's my, I don't even like, it's like, I feel bad even calling him my half brother because we're so much alike, you know, our personalities and shit, but he's a different dad. And like the kid had his last name almost, and he looks just like me. And I'm like, what are the fucking, in a stadium full of people, we sit down right next to each other, you know? Just one of those weird coincidences. And it was at the Scorpions and Alice Cooper concert, so it was Alice Cooper opened up for the Scorpions, and my cousin Johnny that did the song with Riff Raff actually got to meet Alice Cooper. Alice Cooper's his favorite musician of all time, and he got Alice Cooper's guitar and everything. He was covered in glitter and got douched in glitter, which makes sense, right? But yeah,
Just a tidbit of information about myself, right? But weird, right? Weird. Like, got to see him on stage with Alice Cooper and everything. It was just a weird day. That's why I say those are the times that, and then like, ever since that day, that song has always managed, "Rock You Like a Hurricane" has managed to pop up, and I'm like, it's like that song from Battlestar Galactica for me. It pops up at these times, and it's like I always hear it in the background, and it always comes on at these weird times, like like say opportune, inopportune, whatever. Just kind of, you know, like if my life was one big concert, that's like the theme song, right? If that makes sense, kind of, right? And like I say, it's a really good song. It's not my favorite song. I'm fond of it. It's super good. But I would think it would be Bohemian Rhapsody, because that's my all-time favorite song times a million, right? But for some reason, that song by the fucking Scorpions, of all things, right? Don't know why. It's like a calling, right? Calling me for some reason. Like, I guess it's more like a ringtone, if that makes if that makes sense, right? It's like, it's not my favorite song, but it's more like my ringtone, right? My ringtone for reality. Just that synchronicity, right? What do you make of it? I don't know, man. Just pay attention to those when they happen. Right? I guess just pay attention to the times at those point in time, right? I don't say it haunts me, but like it does seem to pop up at like these very bizarre times, right? I'll make an effort not to suck my teeth so much while I'm on live stream, but it's like, as you can always see, I'm fiddling with like toothpicks and shit. You know, I know it's probably annoying. We're almost out of this, Jerry. Need to go eat and have a sleep. Get up early and do it tomorrow. It'll be nice to be able to do that first thing. You know, they say fasted cardio in the morning is the best thing in the world for you. God, that guy crit me for a shit ton there, didn't he? The bleed? You're gonna bleed me to death on that? Yeah. Oh, nope, nope. Nope. Well, you still got it. Fuck you, your galaxy pattern. What does it say, Rick say? Your galaxy powers my brake lights or whatever. Right. Your universe powers my brake lights. Oh, this guy once more now. Oh, and I'm fucking silenced. Oh god, okay. Oh, I see. Alright, guys.